say her name, say their names, Breonna Taylor. One step closer to justice, but we're not there yet. Arrest them. Anyways, welcome to the Stina Show. Happy Thursday. Tonight's guest is Lawrence Epstein, comedian, producer, a lot of cool shows too. And yeah, I hope everyone had a great week and everyone's practicing self-care, meditation, yoga, whatever you can muster the energy to do. 2020 is such a wild ride. Whew. I've been starting to go to the gym at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., and it's actually helping. I never thought sleeping less would help. So yeah. Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence, and welcome. Nice to see you. Hi, Sue. I got you, Lawrence. Hi, Ziza. Yes.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can. How trippy.
All right. It's weird because I was expecting to see myself as well, like you normally do on these things, but I like that I don't see myself. Because don't you
Okay.
like find that distracting when you're doing like video chats? I always find myself kind of looking at myself like, do I look fucking weird right now? Yeah. Yeah.
You look
Like,
great, Lawrence.
thanks. So do you. Hi.
Thank you. Hi. How's
Thanks for
LA? I super like it.
smoky. Mm.
Near you,
Smoky. I
huh?
brought coffee because you and I always have to have coffee. Yeah. What is that? Tea? That looks like tea. All right.
It's 8 o'clock here.
8 o'clock? I drink coffee at like midnight.
Well, you would. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, right. Your tolerance is higher, but I do
that's
appreciate a
true.
good cup.
I'm
So,
like 92% coffee,
that's why we
essentially.
met at a coffee shop.
Exactly. See? That's for anybody watching, that's called a segue.
But
Just so people know what happened there. Yeah, we did. We
wow.
met we met at 10 Forward, which also, if you're a Star Trek fan, would ring a bell because 10 Forward was the name of the cafe on the Enterprise.
It was. That's what she named it after, right?
Right.
Maheen, shout out.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Crazy Maheen. Uh, I think, but like the funniest part about her and that whole coffee shop was that it was named after a Star Trek thing, but there wasn't one thing in the coffee shop that had anything to do with Star Trek.
Not
Like,
one thing.
not one thing, nothing, not a single thing in that coffee shop other than the name, which was
It was,
weird.
yeah. It was just like a rustic style theme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Well,
I think what I I think what I remember the most was like she had that rule where you couldn't use a laptop on her couch. Do you remember that? There was like a sign,
Yeah.
and it was
Why? That
like
was so strange.
no laptops
Oh,
on the couch, which I don't know. I never understood that.
because you didn't want
That
people
place
hanging
was
out on the couch.
crazy.
That place is crazy. But it was so fun while it lasted. We
Yeah.
used to hang out
Well,
there a lot.
oh yeah. Well, I feel like that was right weird now to even think about sitting in like a crowded coffee shop with random people that you don't live in the same household with.
So
That
weird.
feels that feels like a whole different dimension now. Just the
I don't
idea of
want to
that.
accept that dimension.
I know. But that was like the first 12 years of my life in LA was just hanging out at coffee shops. I feel like you have to have like a base of operations, like somewhere to meet people and like figure out what's going on because it's a big lonely city.
It is. I was telling my friend, I was telling Aziza, one of the viewers earlier, that you were my first friend in LA, actually. And, you know, we had a
Fuck
really
yeah.
good time in those coffee shops. But now the current, right before COVID hit, people were hanging out in co-working spaces. That's kind of where the coffee shop shifted to.
Oh, interesting.
I never
Like,
really did, but I would notice
hmm,
that.
yeah, I
What is
guess
it called?
now.
We Space or something?
Oh yeah,
Workspace?
yeah,
One of those
yeah.
places.
We space, right? That's like where they come in and they take over like a whole floor of a building and make it like co-op style,
Exactly, exactly.
right? So you could have like 800 companies all working in like one space.
Yeah, now it's the co-op space was like, uh-uh.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah, I mean, the money aspect, like in this new way of doing everything with COVID and everybody working from home, I think a lot of companies are going to see that they were just wasting a ton of money on office space and cut that overhead. Unfortunately, it's not going to correlate into like employees getting paid more money because that never happens.
Yeah, what is that even?
But
That's not even a thought.
but those big companies, they'll save money. So, yay.
Ay vey, Laurentia.
Yay for them.
No. I feel
That
like
was what,
that's how
10
we
photos?
got into this mess. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Yeah. Da, da, da.
TBC, right? Shoot.
What was 10 forward? That was 2012 or 10? 10?
12.
2010?
I got there in
12.
12. 8 years ago.
2012. Right.
Yeah.
When the Mayans thought the world was going to end. That
Yeah.
was right, right? Because we met around Christmas, I think. Yeah.
It was starting to get cold. Yeah.
It was cold out because I remember
Oh,
you
no,
were always cold.
I came. I came. I came my birthday,
Always.
September 28th. So I met you in
Yeah.
October then.
Yeah. You were
I
definitely
was
always
always
cold.
cold.
I
I
remember
was
that being a
always
thing.
cold.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing. Like,
Yeah,
she's
but
cold.
even in winter, you're like, yeah, but we would hang outside all day, every day. I'm gonna be cold.
But yeah, that was right when
So
the
yeah.
Mayans were like December, I think they said it was December 21st, 2012 was when their calendar ended. So everybody
Right.
was freaking out. But now people are saying that like, oh, maybe they had the years inverted and really it was 2021, which now feels possible,
Um, I
with
can't
everything
even
going
tell you.
on.
Every day it's something else, and God bless us all for real, you know.
Hmm.
But so let's get back into let's start with when you were a young man and you saw
Uh,
your future.
just just a wee boy, just a young wee Lawrence.
Lawrence,
I
Lawrence.
always, yeah, I mean, I don't think I can honestly say that I've always known what I wanted to do. Like, I've always wanted to do something creative because creativity has always felt like the right thing. Like when I was a little kid, my parents used to drag me places like they were in like a bowling league, So they would bring me to the bowling alley and I would have to sit there for hours while they bowled. So what I would do is I would bring a notebook with me and I would pick like a random person I saw walking by and then I would write like an entire story about them.
Wow, that's cool.
And that was when I was like 7 or 8 years old, somewhere in that range. And I would do that everywhere. So like everywhere they would take me, I would, just pick a random stranger and then write a story about like what I thought that person was doing. And then, for years I like drew a lot. I like to draw, but like never anything, I mean, I would say I never graduated beyond like semi-professional doodler. That's probably right where the buck
We
stopped for
had
me,
a we made a piece together.
We did, yeah. I have it somewhere. It's somewhere in here.
I want
I
to
do
see it,
have it.
please.
I do have it.
Mom Bobrowsky says hello.
Oh shit! What's up, Mom Bobrowski? Can I curse on here? Is that allowed?
Please, I don't mind. I
Oh,
curse you.
great.
You're
All
human.
right.
You're human. But
Yeah.
so
Well,
you did art and you had fun with it.
yeah. And I've always, and then that turned into like filming sketch videos with my friends when we were kids, and we had like one of those big, stupid, ridiculous camcorders that took those big tapes that you had to then put in the converter tape to play in your VCR. And we would film like sketch comedy and stuff like that when I was like 12 and 13. And throughout all that, I've always been big into writing stories and poetry and things like that. And, I've shifted over the years into like a technical aspect of television and working in post production. But I've always done like creative stuff on the side. I mean, for years I did stand up comedy, gave that a run for a while, and then kind of had to make a decision between like pursuing that, which is a super long, crazy road, and the people that have made it are so talented and awesome, or like kind of put that to the side and bunker down with like the job that I have. And I just decided to go that route for a while, but I'm still writing, and I've got a couple of scripts that I've written, and so I guess the overall arc of that is that, yeah, I've just always known that I wanted to like be creative, but I wasn't like 8 years old, like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a post-production producer, or like, I mean, I did used to do like impressions and shit when I was a little kid at like parties and stuff for like my parents and friends and things like that, which I guess is like akin to kind of becoming a comedian.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, when I was a kid, you could have asked me 7 times in a week what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I would have had 7 different answers. Sure. I wanted to start a car wash when I was like 9, and my parents told me that if I wanted to start a car wash, I had to call the Better Business Bureau and ask them. And I was so little. I mean, I don't even know how old I was. Somewhere between like 6 and 8 or something. And, they're just laughing at me. But I called the Better Business Bureau and I asked to speak to their principal. Because, at that age, I didn't know. To me, the person of authority was like the principal at school, So I'm thinking like,
they didn't tell you who to call.
No, yeah. They just dialed the number and handed me the phone. My dad was like, "Yeah, go ahead, call. Yeah, get a car wash going."
Oh.
So I was like, "I want to speak to the principal about opening up a car wash." But
you didn't go down that route, huh?
Yeah, no car wash yet. But they're probably good money. Car washes are probably good money. I mean, everybody has to wash their car.
Well, what's his name from Breaking Bad, right? He had a car wash.
Walter White.
Walter White.
Yeah.
You could have been the
right.
next Walter White.
I could have been. Yeah, Heisenberg is a Jewy sounding name.
Yeah, you're on your way.
I got Epstein, It's not a Berg. It's not a Berg, but I got a Steen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim, indeed.
But I was thinking that your stand-up was a lot of fun, and you ran those shows. You managed that stuff.
Yeah, I did. I did the stand-up at first, and then I ran my own open mic for a couple of years, which I think also ultimately is what burnt me out on stand-up comedy, because I went from doing a set and being done to having to endure, 4 or 5 hours of it every week. And, it was hit and miss. There were nights where a lot of people came and it was fun. And then there were nights where it just felt like I was doing a 5-hour set. But
yeah, no, I remember towards the end, you were like, I was like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Say hi. Hi, my sister just joined. Hi, and her girlfriend. Hi, Joe. Hi, Jesse.
Oh, cool.
This is Lawrence.
Hi. I don't see any of you, but I'll take your word for it.
Really? Do you don't see comments or anything?
I see a little wavy hand.
Yeah,
Somebody
you got a
waving.
droid though, right? So it's probably looks different.
Yeah, it is. And I've got like, I thought up until you sent me like the hi email with the info, I thought it was going to be on my laptop. So I then had to figure out a way to prop my phone up to like, because I don't have like a whatever tripod or anything for the phone,
Well,
So.
you did. I mean, I wouldn't have known if you didn't say anything.
All right, thanks.
But I know
good.
the technology is so behind. Don't get me started with that because it bothers me. But
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that you can't do it on a laptop. It's like Instagram. What are you doing
what
here?
are you doing, right? It's 20.
Yeah.
I think it's the 21st century, but 2020 it got me all messed up. So
I don't know what the hell it is anymore. I don't know. It's an episode of the Twilight Zone.
For real. we'll get to that because that reminds me of your TikTok. But your position in post-production, how long ago did you start doing that stuff?
Well, I kind of worked my way up. I started working in like a post-production facility when I was 23, and like my first gig was just in the vault, literally alphabetizing big rolls of film. And that was back before the industry had kind of transitioned into a digital workflow. So everything was still being shot on film, and a lot of it was just literally pushing around carts of 35 millimeter negative for shows like Nip Tuck and CSI New York and Veronica Mars. To date myself, we're talking like 2005
Awesome.
shows that were on them. And then from that, I got kind of promoted in the company, and I ended up becoming what's called like an overnight operations manager, which it became my job to oversee the entire facility on like the midnight to 8 shift, which was awesome, except for the fact that I had kind of lied a lot about my qualifications in getting the job in the first place. And I was 23 with very little experience, and then became in charge of this like multi-million dollar company. And we were processing footage for Lost. And Lost was like the biggest show on TV at the time. And there was a lot of pressure and a lot of times where like I had to really just bullshit as much as I could bullshit and get my way through, and like Googling things like problems would happen, and I would have to like look them up on the internet and figure out what they even meant, because I didn't even know like a lot of the terminology that was getting used. And ultimately I did that for a while, and then I became like what's considered like a daytime producer within the facility, which is where essentially like you're responsible for handling all the work needed for any given show from kind of like start to finish. And from that, one of my clients hired me to become a post-production supervisor with her on The Affair for Showtime.
I remember that was cool.
Yeah, so that was like my first actual show that I worked on, and I did a couple of seasons with them. And it's really a catch-all position. I mean, there's so much that you have to deal with, but like the easiest way to simplify it is just like you're making sure that the minute the camera turns off, literally everything is getting to the TV. And that involves so many steps that most people have no real idea about, you know, like that every frame of a show is color corrected by a person who's considered a colorist, and all of the audio is mixed and balanced and sweetened, and all these visual effects that have to get created and done. And there's just a lot, as you know, that happens after the fact. And people quite often just don't know everything that happens, but that's my job, is to get all that stuff done.
What's the turnover rate for a TV show, like a 45-minute sitcom or a 45-minute drama or something?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. Like basically it'll take 7 days to film an entire episode. And then at the end of those usually 7 to 9 days to film a 30 to 60-minute episodic show. And also you got to remember, if it's a 60-minute show, it's really only 42 minutes and change, because that extra time is there for commercials.
Right.
Unless you're working on, you know, like Showtime or HBO where there's no commercials. But so it'll take 7 days to film, and then usually anywhere from like 2 to 3 months to get the actual episode itself finished. But you have to think, in that 2 to 3 month period, you're simultaneously working on all the episodes. So, you know, the first episode finishes shooting, you're working on it, second episode is shooting, and so forth and so on. So it really ends up becoming, and this is what happens on every single show, nothing gets done because everybody's busy filming. And then you get like this 2-month crunch of having to literally finish everything. Plus, you no longer have production because they're not filming anymore. So, you know, forget it if you're missing something, or, you know, because that happens too, where a scene just is missing, or
ADR, right?
Yeah, a lot of ADR. the show I'm on right now, which I can't really talk about because it's not being promoted yet, because of the way COVID has affected us, we're now having to do all of our ADR at once. So each actor is having to do like 9 to 14 hours worth of ADR recording.
Whoa.
Whereas opposed to like you would have the entire course of a season and you would bring a person in for an hour here and an hour there and an hour there. It's all crushed now. And yeah, we're having to bring these people in for these like marathon sessions to record ADR, which also kind of affects their voice quality too, after doing so much of it.
Yeah, right.
Which is, just yet another new element. So yeah, that pretty much sums up where I'm at with my job as far as like what I do. It's not as creative as I'd like it to be, but I'm close. I'm next door to the creative stuff.
The person who commented Radio Wave Studio is an audio professional, and she said,
oh, yeah.
yes, audio, TV mixing. So she hears you with the recording of, but yeah, no, strain on the voice is a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Radio Wave Studios. You know what I'm talking about.
Cheers. So, speaking of inspirations, because why not? Current and past inspirations.
Ooh, current and past inspirations. Yeah, you gotta. You
got a little beard there, Laurencio.
Yeah, current and past. Does that mean that there's two inspirations, or is the current inspiration, does that mean that I had one and I no longer have that one, but now I have a new one?
For me, I have a lot of them. So
yeah, there are a lot of inspirations.
So growing up is the past, and when you were younger. And then,
who's my future? Who will be my future inspiration?
I can tell you my future. Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin, no. Carol Baskin.
No.
How does it go? Carol Baskin shot her husband, killed him.
Whacked him. Can't pretend that it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Right. There you go.
Carol Baskin.
See, I might be pushing 40, but I still know those TikTok jingles.
Yeah, you make a lot of videos.
It's inspirations. Young, like growing up inspiration, I would say George Carlin, who was just like such a prolific, raw comedian that said exactly what he thought. And he pointed out things that you never would have noticed if he didn't point out, but yet also in the same token, they were super obvious. He was just such like a master at doing that. And I actually got to meet him when I was a teenager, which was awesome.
Cool.
And a whole other crazy story. But I would say like George Carlin for sure growing up was an inspiration to me. Current inspiration to me, honestly, right now my current inspiration like isn't a person. My current inspiration is like just the idea of change. Like that's what inspires me, is like the idea that things need to fucking change. And I don't know. I don't know if any one person could be like my current inspiration. I think it's more so just the idea of like things need to change systematically in our country. And I'm hopeful for like that happening.
I'm hopeful too. Let's pray.
Yeah, seriously. It's just such a like, it's going to take generations for this country and this world to change because like we didn't get here overnight. But I think that it's important that we start now. And over generations, if people now can raise kids with a better, more equal, more just ideology, then those kids can in turn raise kids with that ideology. And then, generations down the road, our cops, our politicians, our everybody will be comprised of these people with such a better sense of equality and justice in life and all that. We're not going to change the minds of stubborn people who were raised in a failed systematic society.
Right.
You know, our best hope is to create a future that represents what it is that we're fighting for and we want. To think that we're going to reap the benefits of it is foolish. We're not. Like, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be trying. And that, I think, is like the hardest thing for people, is that everybody wants like some kind of instant gratification, or they want to see something happen right after they do it. And that's not really the case with like big systematic changes, you know? So.
No, it's like the elephant. I always reference the elephant baby versus the dog having a baby. The dogs can have them a lot, and the elephant takes a very long time to have a child.
Yeah,
a baby.
like 9 months, right? Or I mean, 11, 2 years.
A
2
long
years, right?
time. I'm not sure the amount, but I just
Not
know
9 months.
so long.
9 months is just as long as a human takes. Or I go 9 months? No, I think it's like 2. I think it's like 2 years.
I gotta Google.
Speaking of animals, do you know what sound a giraffe makes?
I saw it on your TikTok. What sound does a giraffe make, Lauren?
I can't mimic it, but apparently they hum. Apparently giraffes hum.
Like,
I just learned that. I guess.
For real?
Like,
I want to hear that.
Yeah, I've never met one, but.
Let's get into some of your shows. Hunters on Amazon, you could talk about with Al Pacino, right?
Yeah, that was a crazy show. That show, it was written by David Well, who actually is a former soap opera actor and writer. He's a young guy, amazing, like super talented. And he wrote that show, and it's about like 1970s Holocaust survivors hunting and killing these Nazis that were brought in secrecy to the United States after Hitler was defeated, because America knew that Russia was trying to get these people, and they're all super intelligent scientists. And so apparently, the way the show goes, at least, and it is based on like some kind of theories and truth, but I can't say 100% that any of it's really true. And yeah, it's this group of Holocaust survivors hunting and killing Nazis that are living in America underneath false identities. And it's just 1970s New York. It's fucking so cool. It's such a good show. The cast is crazy good. Al Pacino, Carol Kane, Josh Radnor.
It's
a
out
lot
now?
of other people. Yeah, it's fully out. It's on Amazon. You can watch it, season 1, and they just got picked up for season 2.
Cool.
So season 2 is going to be getting worked on as well, but I don't know if I'll be on that, just scheduling wise, if I'll be able to work on it. But the first season is awesome. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend checking that out.
We have a few comments. Sarah said it takes 22 months for an elephant to make a baby. Any more facts I should check? Thank you, fact
22
checker,
months.
Sarah.
Thank you. 22 months.
Radio Wave said some of the Russian scientists after World War One, I think that says, moved to Long Island.
Oh.
1 or 2? My eyes can't see that, but
2. He said.
It's World War II.
Yeah.
World War II. That's crazy. Well, here, I'll show you a little preview here. I got your IMDb going.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That is my...
Flaunt you. There's Hunters.
Yeah.
Alba. And look at the credits.
Yeah, I've worked on a lot. Halt and Catch Fire, that was an awesome show.
Outlander.
Zoo, Outlander,
The
Walking
Dead. Come on.
That was a big one. People really went crazy over that one.
And you did a lot more than these, right? Too, I feel. What, are they just
a lot
listed?
more. Yeah, I think a lot of things just, I don't know. Some get listed, some don't.
Didn't you work on, I think you told me on weeds and stuff, no?
Yeah, back 2000, like 7.
That's my favorite memory.
Yeah, I did work on weeds, but that's when I worked. See, so when I worked in the facility side, you usually don't get credited because you don't technically work for the show. So, like, yeah, I worked on Weeds, I worked on Lost, but I'm not credited for any of that stuff because I was
Oh, it
working on
sucks.
the facility side. So, yeah, Weeds was cool though. I like that show. I heard they're doing a reboot, which I'm not super enthralled about. I'm not a
Yeah,
huge
no,
fan
I'm not
of
down if
reboots.
she's not in it. Like Mary Louise Parker
Yeah,
just
like
said, I'm
Radio
not down
Wave
if she's not in
Studios
it.
said. Yeah, Mary
Yeah,
Louise
she
Parker.
knows. She knows.
Yeah, I don't know, like you tell a story and the story's good, and then sometimes opening it back up could be for the worse. You know, sometimes you can pull it off. I don't know. It depends how they do it. Like Better Call Saul, I think is just as fantastic of a show as Breaking Bad was for like what I like. You know, and that's not really a reboot, it's more of a spin-off, but
Right.
I still think it's a good show. Yeah, I also
Fuller
worked on
House was okay.
Fuller House. I never watched one episode of Fuller House.
It was
No,
okay.
no, no, no. Did you see, by the way, Lori Loughlin? She's gonna go serve her 2 months in Club Med for her
Is that what you
fraudulent.
call a little slap?
Yeah, that's nothing. That's
Nothing.
so nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
Although the whole time I knew it was going to be nothing. Like celebrities never really get harsh sentences unless it's like some hardcore shit that they did, you know? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I also
So
worked on
yeah, yeah.
Lodge 49.
I was just
Lodge
gonna say that
49.
for AMC network.
Yeah. Did 2 seasons of that show. And if you haven't seen, have you ever seen it? Have you watched Lodge 49? Because
Not
it's
yet. You've told me to. I
not
haven't
yet.
watched it yet.
That's okay. It's okay. It's a really awesome show. It's really fantastic. It's on Hulu and AMC. It's about a community of people living in Long Beach. It's very California, and it's just very real life feeling. It has like that real life vibe to it. So it's easy to get very submersed in the characters. It kind of follows the story of Dud, who's played by Wyatt Russell, and that's the son of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. And him and his sister, who's played by this actress from England named Sonia Cassidy, and their brother and sister, and they kind of rely on their father and their father's pool cleaning business, and he passes away. And season one kind of starts there with their experience and getting through life and dealing with like the loss of the father. But then there's this very crazy like sci-fi mythical aspect to the show as well. Dud finds himself in like a fraternal like Freemason-ish kind of lodge where it's like all these local Long Beach people that are living regular lives and working regular jobs, but then at night meet up at this lodge where they can drink together and have like this special little private community. And it's just written hilariously and produced hilariously, and it's such a good comedy. And they canceled us after 2 seasons, but that's kind of how AMC does it, unless you have zombies.
Oh man. Well, that's good. They still show it somewhere online.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
For The
what?
Walking Dead, I like barely had any position on that show. You know, I just like handled some crap with their color correction. And I
Nice.
went to a cousin's wedding once in upstate New York, and people wanted to like pose with me and take photographs. And I was like, y'all are crazy. Like, I literally do like the least important thing to do with this show. And they were so fanatic about the show that they
Aw.
didn't even care. And like, so somewhere in upstate New York, there's people with like pictures of them and me. You know, like, oh, this guy worked on The Walking Dead. You know, it's just funny.
Yeah, oh, I know. Like when people are like, "What have you been in?" And I've only done like featured work. I mean, I'm grateful for all of it, but I'm like, you can
Yeah.
see me in this, and they're like, "Oh my God!" And it's
Could
simple
see
stuff,
could
you
see
know.
you in the casino scene in that TV show Vegas.
They, how
'Cause
crazy when you edited my footage. That was when our world
remember that?
really, really.
Remember that? I texted you a photo like, look what I'm looking at right now.
You found me in the screen. Like that's
Yeah, I
crazy.
did. Yeah, I did. I was
Vegas,
like, hey, wait a
Vegas,
minute.
right?
Yeah, with Dennis Quaid,
And
that
who else?
show.
Michael Chiklis?
Michael
Was it
Chiklis. Yeah, yeah,
Michael
Chiklis.
Chiklis?
And Carrie Ann Moss from The Matrix
Yeah. Chiklis
was
was
in
on
that
set.
show.
He directed us that day, I think. But
Yeah. Yeah, he
it was
played
so
like
cool.
the Vegas gangster or whatever.
It's a good time. I miss Hollywood.
I
I'll
miss
be
New
back
York.
when the smoke clears.
Yeah.
And COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite gigs?
My favorite, what was that?
Your favorite your gigs you've worked. One of your favorites.
Oh, for sure it would be Lodge 49
Yeah.
and also another show I worked on, Halt and Catch Fire, which was a really awesome show that went kind of under the radar. There's actually 5 seasons of it. And it just kind of, they never promoted it really well and it never caught on, but it's this amazing show about like this group of people that are constantly right on the forefront of creating like the next technological thing. The show starts in the 80s and throughout the 5 seasons it works its way up to the mid 90s. So, in the beginning it's like they're working on inventing the first home computer, and then and then in the next season they're working on creating the internet, and then search engines, and it's just this super like intense, deep, well-written series, and it's awesome. But just never really got like the promoting that it deserved. So it kind of slipped under the radar, but it's totally a show that if you can find, it might be on AMC streaming, but Halt and Catch Fire is like exceptional. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and just also ran by really great people. That's the thing. Like a show itself can be awesome context wise, but if the producers and the people running it are toxic, it makes working on it just absolutely terrible. No matter how good the
Oh
content
yeah, of course.
might be.
Of
And
course.
I'm not gonna. I don't like to talk disparagingly about people, so I'm not gonna name any of those shows.
Yeah,
But
that's nice.
there's
Sparing.
definitely shows that I've worked on where the bosses are toxic and it's just a toxic culture that gets bred, and you get done at the end of a 12-hour day and you feel terrible.
Drained.
Yeah, drained and defeated and questioning what you're doing, and like
Hmm.
I just can't live my life like that. To me,
It's not worth
I
it.
want to,
I experience
yeah,
that at sometimes, in life, right?
yeah.
And it's not worth it. And there's sometimes a silver lining, but in those cases, you really got to move on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, yeah, quite often we get stuck in a position where we feel like there is no way to move on. So, you know,
Right.
people work at a job for 20 years that they hate,
Right.
and they stay mainly out of fear of not finding another job or not being able to make enough money, or,
Fear, right?
obviously if you have families and children and all these other elements that come into play, it's that much harder to like make a move. But happiness is like, at least like a general happiness. Like it's hard to be happy about anything in 2020 because it almost feels like guilty to be happy about stuff
Right.
because there's so much tragedy happening.
Yeah.
But to do something that gives you a good feeling at least is so important for like mental health. And yeah, it's if you can make the move and you're in a terrible position and a shitty job, it's worth it. Even if there's some suffering, shit. Nothing good
Right.
ever comes without a little bit of suffering.
I know you got to close that door. Shoot.
Yeah.
So I know that once I start hitting the next subject, it's going to go fast. So before we
Okay.
head into the deep end, a deep quote, a deep quote and/or enlightenment experience to share.
A
You like
deep
my
quote.
segues?
A deep, yeah. A deep quote or enlightenment experience. Well, I kind of stand by the quote that I don't know how deep it is, but maybe it's the deepest quote of all, but it's just super cliche. But life is what you make it. And I really do believe in that quote of life is what you make it, because we're all given different hands and cards in life. But we all, for the most part, do have the opportunity to at least change what's in our immediate bubble on a daily basis. You know, if you're wishing you worked out more, you can make that change. You can start doing push-ups or sit-ups, or if you want to diet, you can start adjusting those things. And I think that's what it means with the term, like, life is what you make it. Because obviously I can't, like, manifest a Ferrari outside to go get it, but, like, I can be nice and caring and loving to the people in my life, and I can do things to help better myself and create my life and maybe the other people's lives that are, like, interconnected with my life just a little bit better, maybe. You know, and I really do think life is what you make it. I also think, like, problems are only as big as you make them too. A lot of times in life, like, if you come into something at 75 out of 100, then everybody else is going to quickly jump to 100. But if you come into something in a more calm, even keel kind of way, you can often set the tone for dealing with whatever that problem might be. You know, I just think we have a lot of control that we don't exercise in life for a number of outside reasons and variances and things. But once you learn to, like, really control your environment that's around you, you can have a better life and a better mentality. And, like, I think it's important to always have, like, what's considered a PMA, which is, like, a positive mental attitude, because
Positive
it really,
PMA, nice.
yeah, because really what you put out there is what you get back, you know. And if
Simple physics, right?
yeah, if you're a salty, bitter fuck, you're gonna
Yeah.
get salty, bitter fuck type shit back.
Right.
That's what's gonna come back at you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like, if you spit, it's gonna hit you in the face. But if
That's
you
why
put
that's
out,
why I say, yeah, karma is the best religion. It's
yeah,
simple, you know?
yeah, yeah. And even if you don't believe in, you know, even if it doesn't matter, you could be a Catholic, you could be a Muslim, you could be
Oh,
a
right,
Jew.
right,
It
right.
doesn't matter. Karma is karma,
Period.
and just sees no ethnicity or race. I really do just think what do they say? You reap what you sow. Is that what they say? Right?
Someone says that. Yeah.
I think I gave you 7 deep quotes there.
Wow. Throughout this whole
But
conversation.
and you know what my enlightening experience is? This show.
Oh,
That's my enlightening experience for the day.
you. You. Thank you. That's so kind. So, all right. So, Hollywood Pirates, I love it. You started it with a friend, right, a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
with
it's
Jude.
on and off now. What's happening with that?
It's way off. It's as off as it can be, dude. Yeah, it's
Why?
off. It's
I
off.
loved it.
Well, because he lives in Orange County now, and I'm here in Hollywood, and it's just not what it used to be. But yeah, for a long time, for a year, him and I would do, like, sketch videos every week, post them on YouTube every week, put them on Facebook every week. It was a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, you know. But we'd put up a new video every Sunday, and they're all still there. YouTube.com/Hollywood Pirates, one word. But at this point, you know, I mean, there's ones that are funny for sure, but also there's a lot that are dated now that it's been so many years. And obviously the quality, it's like, come on, now you could film with your phone 4K UHD. And this was years ago when we were filming on, like, a, you know, much lesser quality digital camera. But there's some good ones on there. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, if you want to see something I do, that's certainly, yeah, there's going to be these 100 videos of me living on YouTube for the rest of eternity.
That was a good time. I remember when you were filming them. They're funny, and
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of
it's a
fun.
good archive to have.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's still ones that I really find funny and stuff. But it's just not practical now because we used to be roommates, so it was much easier, as you know.
To
But
organize.
now, yeah, especially now with
Hopefully.
COVID. Anyway,
Yeah, well, yeah, now it doesn't count in this
yes.
conversation.
Now all I do are just TikTok videos, which just require myself and my phone, which is much
Um,
easier.
which I was going to show one or two. Or do you mind if I show?
Oh, how do you do that? Oh, I didn't even know you could look at TikTok on a damn computer.
Yeah, I mean, all right. I like this one.
Oh, yeah. Do you have audio?
Do you hear it? Where is it? Oh, I
I
muted
don't.
it because my emails were coming in. Hold on. You don't? Okay, ready? Here we go.
I still don't hear it, but I don't know if somebody
Really?
else can hear it. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me turn it up.
I'm looking forward to getting your soul in
Oh,
November.
there it is.
You
All right,
have
let me
fun?
reset it because I want them to hear this.
Ah, yes. The devil for the president? I can hold. Donnie. Good to hear from you. I'm looking forward to getting your soul in November. You've had fun? Well, I just want to say you've done excellent work. Really, just as good as I could have done in person. So, thanks for all your hard work. Oh, no, of course. And one last thing before you go. If you could put Pence on, we have to talk about his arrangement.
I like that
Ah,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
And
If you scroll, does it go in most recent order?
yeah, I'm scrolling up. I have a few favorites.
Okay.
Let me
Oh
just
yeah.
see
Well
this.
then play what you like the most. I don't want to
I'll
pick.
play that. You give me after I play this one. Show me which one you like. I
Oh,
like your
okay.
Netflix presents Solve
Thank you.
Mysteries. I like
Thank you. I did
like
3 of these. Yeah.
Let me hear the kids.
Robert Sept, and welcome back to another episode of Solved Mysteries. Tonight we discuss the case of the missing lighter. Nobody knew exactly where the lighter had went until... Now that's right, but that concludes Solved Mysteries. Tune in next time for another easily solved mystery.
Nice.
Yeah, see, this
I
is what
like that.
happens. I get late at night, stoned, goofy
Oh yeah,
ideas.
which one of those is your favorite or the best one to show?
Keep going, because I feel like
For
I'm
the
getting better.
recent?
I feel like I'm getting, yeah, because I feel like I'm getting
Okay.
better and better at them.
But look how many you have.
So
Okay,
I would
7.
say, wait, no, keep going down. Sorry, I feel like we should have prepared this.
Ah.
Okay, so I'm pointing at my screen like you can fucking see me pointing my finger. The bottom row left, me with the phone.
Got it.
Hi, you've reached the office of God. How may I help you? Oh, that is quite unfortunate. Well, from looking at your account, I believe you'd have to upgrade to our premium prayer membership if you'd like assistance. Yeah, that's just an additional $1,700 a day. And that ensures that your prayers will be answered in the order they're received. The current wait time, 2 billion years. Yeah. He's scheduled to appear as a Cheeto in 2750. I might be able to get you in right after that. If you're interested, I can transfer you to our sales department. Hi.
See, this is why I don't watch my own videos, because whenever I watch something that I do, I'm instantly seeing every single place where I want to change it.
Right.
I think I just can't watch. Like, if I was ever in TV shows or movies, I would be one of those people that never watched what I did, because I'm by far my biggest critic.
Well, that's
stuff
anyone.
like
I
that.
think anyone on camera. It's weird.
Yeah. So that's like one of the difficult parts about making TikTok videos, in my opinion, is that you're by yourself when you're doing it. So you have to purely judge your content, whereas opposed to when you're working with a partner in a collaboration, you can have somebody that'll say to you like, that's not funny, or let's cut this a little shorter, or, and there's that kind of like give and take back and forth to kind of like whittle down to like a really finished product But when your voice is your only voice telling you.
Well, that's why I like how you have so many videos, because you take that risk, even though I don't know what that that's a TikTok video. You take the risk of just posting it. Like for me, I don't even, first of all, I try not to go on TikTok as much because of how addicting it is. But when I do go on and try to post a video, I'm like, should I post this? And I just post it and run away, essentially. And I'm like, I'll just leave this here and go away.
Have you seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
I just started watching that about an hour ago, like right before I got on here. And then I was like, let me not watch this because I don't want to get in that mindset, which is was sending me down that road. So I put on music instead. But yeah, I just started it. It's trippy, right?
Yeah, it goes deep into like basically how they're using us in a sense. There's one quote, you should watch it first. I'm not going to talk about it. You should watch it. But there is one quote there is one quote in there that really stood out, which was that there's only two industries that refer to their customers as users. One is drugs and the other is software.
Damn.
And it's like, that quote, I was like, damn, that's so true. That's so true. And I know about both, so.
I know a little bit about something.
A little bit about something.
I'm being vague for public purposes.
Sure, of course. Yeah, better to stay vague. Absolutely. I agree.
So we have a few minutes left. What are some current
awesome.
and I know it goes too fast.
I can't believe it's already been an hour.
What are some current and future projects?
Well, right now it's so hard to even make that kind of determination with COVID. I'm starting to hear about projects that are starting back up, and I'm of course still working on like my own stuff that I'm writing, but it's nothing close to anything I'd really want to talk about, just because I don't know, when I write, it's like I will literally start writing something and then just like third paragraph and completely switch my idea of what I'm doing. So I don't want to label anything I'm working on personally, but I was going to start doing stand-up comedy again right when COVID hit. Ironically, I was booked to do a show Friday, March 13th. I was booked to go do a stand-up comedy show that night. I was going to make like whatever my comeback to doing stand-up comedy. And then the pandemic hit, so that didn't happen. And I'm still on this Amazon show that I can't really talk about because it's not being promoted yet. But, I'm looking for like whatever the next gig will be. But right now, there's just so much question. Like shows are starting to shoot again, but that could all stop really quickly if people get infected. So knock on wood, right now, my show's been shooting again for 2 weeks. And luckily, it's just, there's a whole new crazy system of testing and zones and people in zone A, zone B, zone C, and how they can't communicate with each other. Even as far as like what you are allowed to do in your off time is also now kind of monitored as well. Luckily for me, I'm working from home, so I'm in like zone G or something. But if you're an actor and you're on a show now and you're in zone A, there's some like crazy regulations and rules on what you can and can't do just because of transmission.
They're starting to reach out to people who do background work sometimes, and one of the shows said quarantine, and they want you to do several gigs in that time period of like 2 weeks. So they want to quarantine this group of people. I'm very fortunate to have gotten these opportunities, but I'm focusing on principal work. But it was like when I saw that, I was like, whoa,
So is every show just going to have like the same 17 extras?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's gonna be the same 17 people in every fucking coffee shop, in every
Isn't that crazy? What's happening? It's like,
or they could just do cardboard cutouts. Yeah, they could do cardboard cutouts like Dodger Stadium and just
That's
have
that's creepy to me. I don't like looking at that. Just leave it
one
empty.
kid.
What's the point of
Yeah, one kid, his cardboard cutout, his head got decapitated by a baseball.
that?
And I saw
And
another
he's
set of
suing.
people. I don't know, but I saw
No.
another set of people paid to have Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. Remember that
Oh,
movie?
I love that
Where they,
movie. Yeah.
yeah, so they paid to have a cardboard cutout of Bernie in the
Oh,
audience at Dodger Stadium.
oh
Oh,
shoot.
I see. Somebody commented that
Yeah.
a friend is on a new HBO show, and I see another comment asking what show I'm on.
Hi,
Uh,
Margaret. That's Margaret. And yeah.
I'm doing a show for Amazon. I can tell you it's called Panic. The title of the show is called Panic, which is
Oh,
super fitting for the year 2020. Uh,
too good, too good.
you can look up like a short synopsis, I think, on IMDb, but there's just no promoting of it yet. So I don't know what I can or can't really say about it. So yeah, mum's the word on that one.
We shall go to Starbucks again soon, my friend.
I go there all the time. Yeah, I'm still going there.
Oh, I go
Drive through,
here, but
Yeah,
together, my friend.
yeah,
Together.
yeah. Someday when you come back to LA, we can hang out. I don't think
I'm
I'll be
gonna
in New
come
York.
back soon. I
Are you?
mean, what's happening? And well, I'm gonna go to Texas first, and then make a pit stop to Texas, and then come to LA. That's my, that's always next on my agenda to come to LA.
Yeah,
But with the
awesome.
smoke
Well,
right now, I'm not rushing there, but I do want to come back.
can you? So I keep hearing on the news and people saying that the smoke is reaching New York from the fires here on the West Coast. Have
Well,
you
there are
seen?
six states that are currently affected, and someone
Right.
said it's continuing. The smoke is moving. I haven't seen it, no, but I mean that
No.
would be so
Okay.
hot. That would be out. That would be scary as, you know.
Yeah. Like I saw a video of a guy having a cup of coffee on the roof of his building in Manhattan this week, and it was like a pretty hazy sky, and he was basically trying to say that like this was the smoke arriving from the West Coast, but
Or it could
I
just
mean,
be
I
New
don't know.
York pollution. It's nothing's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so you have about 2 minutes. Where on
Okay,
TikTok,
great.
Instagram, YouTube can
Everywhere,
people?
my handle pretty much everywhere is Jewbacca,
I love it.
Jewbaccha. So Jewbacca is where you can find me on. Yeah, I do a lot of TikTok videos. I've mastered getting very few likes, so I'm doing pretty good at that. If anybody needs tips on how to get
Congrats,
very few
bravo.
likes and definitely keep underneath 70 followers, I've got tips on how to achieve that for sure.
I've seen
Uh,
worse.
yeah, so have I. Yeah, yeah. And I'm not really putting anything on YouTube right now, but yeah, pretty much just mainly on TikTok. That's where y'all can find me. Thank you so much for having me on here. This was
Thank you
fun.
for coming on,
Yeah,
Laurentia.
absolutely.
We'll
Fantastic.
talk offline. And yes, and good luck. Break a leg on your future and current projects.
Cool.
And stay
Yeah, you
safe
too.
out there.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Love you. Bye, Lauren.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Lawrence is one of my best friends in Los Angeles, and I've known him for a while now. Please check out his new shows, and he is very funny, as you can see. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Ziza. Thank you, Mom, Joe, Jesse, Tara, Lewis, all my lovers and friends and visitors. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good week. Stay safe. Stay strong. Stay positive. We're all having challenges. I've had so many challenges this week, but it gets better, and it's been better. It's been worse. It's been better. Thank you again for joining. Blessings and love.